Howdy, and thank you for joining us for this special edition of the Virtual Book Festival, recorded on May 27th, 2020, produced by Book Festival Network and Dear Texas, Dear Indy. This show is sponsored by Authors Marketing Guild. We're a membership-owned company that helps authors learn how to market and sell themselves. Also by indielector.store, the only bookstore that offers up to 80% of its sales to authors directly. And produced by Dear Indy and Dear Texas, where we drop everything and read both Texas and Indy authors. We'd like to introduce Mae Edwards to our audience.
All righty. Well, howdy, everybody out there in COVID land. Isn't this an interesting time we're living in? I think it's wonderful that we're doing this. And, you know, Ernie, it's really cool. Where would the world be without Texans? You know, Texans are in every facet of our life. And everybody, I want you to know that, well, Alan, have you got me on?
Oops. Yes, you're going.
I am? Okay, I wasn't sure. I've been having technical difficulties, had to change computers and everything in a rush, everything. Okay, well, anyway, the name of my book is Stolen Options. And if we can get the glare off there you go. It is an autobiography. In 2018, I did win 2 awards, one for Texas Best Autobiography for Women's Issues, and Lord knows I'm a woman and I had issues. And then for the National Pinnacle Achievement Award for Best Autobiography. So it's been an adventure. And I'm inviting everybody to purchase the book on indielector.store. You get a discounted price off of from the regular prices. It is available in hardcover, paperback, ebook, as well as Audible on audible.com. So you can reach me through any of those. If you order it through the Indie Lector or me through Mae at stolenoptions.com, I can autograph that for you and send it out to you directly. Well, a little bit about me and my book. To start with, I apologize for the haircut. This is what happens when we get stuck indoors for 2.5 months. And I think the hairstylists were stuck indoors and didn't get any practice for 2.5 months. But, oh well, it's only hair. It will grow back. Okay. Well, my book is an autobiography, as I said. My story is a little unique, just like everybody out there. Everybody has their own story, and it is unique, no question. I grew up in the foster care system, so you know what that stigma is from society back in the 60s and 70s. And if you watch movies now even, you see the foster child is always the bad one or the one with issues. So yeah, I had to grow up with that stigma, not to mention having red hair. And back in the 60s and 70s, that was not the in thing. So with that, and I had the most horrible horn-rimmed glasses. I don't know if some of you remember those. I was a homely kid, so I was constantly being told, you can't do this, you won't amount to anything. And guess what? I took that and ran with it because I was determined that if they said I can't, I'm going to do my dad level best to do it. I came home to an alcoholic stepdad. I joined the Air Force because I'm dyslexic. So that's another one to pile onto my pile. I knew I wasn't college material, so I joined the Air Force. Well, guess what? They stuck me in plumbing. So I was one of the first female plumbers in the Air Force. And then when I got out, I became one of the first 125 licensed plumbers in the state of Texas. So I kind of helped pave the way for all you women out there that want to be a plumber. It is an interesting field, but it is a man's world, and it still is to this day. But us women are making inroads. Okay, so once I joined the Air Force, like I said, I was a plumber, and then I went into medical administration because I was married to an abusive husband who was lower ranked than me, which didn't help any. I finally divorced him, got out of the Air Force, came back from Wyoming to Texas to be with my family. I needed a good support group, and I had 2 small children. I ended up marrying my high school sweetheart. We've known each other for 44 years. We've been together for 37 now, still going strong. And the book kind of addresses some of the issues of Christianity. It's not a book that preaches to you by any stretch of the imagination. It just talks about how my Christianity, my faith helped me through all these hardships in life. Now, I'm a Christian and my husband's not. So it does address some of the issues that we went through. I had breast cancer. I had a hard time with it, but you know what? With my faith, I dealt with it. My husband had a harder time with it because he's not a Christian. He did not have the faith that I did. We went through 2 jury trials with my son. That was a very hard time, very hard to write. It may be hard to read for some of you, but it is definitely worth addressing. Now, my husband and I like to do some primitive hiking. Now, I'm not talking about just putting on the boots and running into the woods. I'm talking about hiking with a backpack in the mountains for 4 or 5 days on your laurels. And I end up on my laurels a few times. Anyway, we do a lot of hiking, four-wheeling and motorcycle riding up in Colorado and Wyoming. As you can see from the picture behind me here, this was in the Tetons. So we bought us a badass power wagon and took it up to Colorado, did a lot of four-wheeling. Well, the crazy thing about that, which is not in the book, unfortunately, or fortunately, the month after I published my book in 2017, my husband rolled the truck. Yes, folks, those power wagons will do anything and everything you want, including roll over. But I told my husband that would have been a good story for the book. He says, well, that's part 2. So who knows? It may end up in the second one. Well, then people ask me why I wrote the book. Well, this has been my story, and I'm number 6 of 7 children. My mother sent us or gave us up to DePelchin Children's Home here in Houston area. A lot of people will say, oh, poor thing. Well, you know what? That was probably the best thing that could have happened to me, because there's no telling where I'd be right now. I may not be sitting here. The book is a way to empower people, not just women, but anybody that grows up with a horrible background. Now tell me one family that has not had some kind of issue. Everybody has issues. There is not the perfect family, and mine is certainly certainly attest to that. So a lot of people told me, well, you know, your story is very interesting, Mae. You ought to write a book. Well, after 15 years of journaling and deciding what to put in, what to leave out, agonizing, and a lot of prayer went over this book. You know, you can't do anything in life without God in it. God doesn't leave us, we leave him. And I once had a Sunday school teacher tell me that, you know, things are hard, but God never gives us more than we can handle. And that has been my whole genre through life, because God has put so many people in my path, so many events that, you know, they say God tests you. No, I think we test ourselves. God is just there to help us along the way. And sometimes he puts people in our paths that will help us in there. And I think Alan is one of those even that has helped me through this journey. Ernie, you've been wonderful. I've loved talking to you. There's been so many people that have helped me through my journey in this book. So I want this book to be an empowerment to everyone out there. I have gotten wonderful reviews from people who have read it. One lady even told me, my gosh, Mae, it was like going through a therapy session with you. It was wonderful, dealing with some of the issues that they were dealing with. Not necessarily the exact same issues, but it helped show them that, you know what, we're not alone. And let me ask you all out there, you think, how many times have you felt the blessing that you have been able to help someone else in one way or another, monetary, physical, mental, whatever? There's a blessing there when you help someone else. Well, you know what? Let others have their blessings, and don't be afraid to take help from someone else. When someone else wants to give you their blessing, accept it gladly. I'm the type of person that, nope, I can do it myself. I can do it better than anybody. And I know there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way. Well, you know what? I finally learned that it's worth to give them the blessing of letting them help you through different things. Now, a lot of you out there probably wonder, okay, she's a one-book wonder. Well, okay, I'm working on another book, folks. My 4th foster dad had a stroke last year, and I spent all year dealing with that and with him. So the next book will be our journey through that, through the stroke and all the emotions and things with that. And who knows, I may get the the demolished four-wheeler truck in that book one way or another. Who knows? But look for that. Not this year, maybe next year. And also, I want you all to know that when you order from Indie Lecter, you are ordering from us, not that big powerhouse down the road or up in New York or what have you. It helps us as indie authors. Now, those of you who do not know what an indie author is, we are those who publish our own books. We didn't go through the big giant publishers because, honey, let me tell you, you've got to publish a lot of books and sell a ton of books to be able to pay and make it worth that. Well, as an indie author, we publish our own, we do our own marketing, and indielector.store is our way of selling our books and making a little bit more. It sells for the same price. Well, actually, it's less. So you get a discount. Plus, we are able to send it out to you directly and autograph it or sign it to whomever you like. So please take advantage of that and look at all the wonderful authors on that site. There are so many. Honey, let me tell you, Texas puts out a good crop of authors. And I am to attest to that. I've known several. I've read a lot of books from Texas authors. I did not realize we had so many wonderful authors in the state of Texas. Like I said, how much can this world get along without us? So keep on trucking, everybody, and tell your story. You know, you used to have our older folks, our grandparents, our great-grandparents that used to tell us stories. And I miss that. I had one grandmother that actually told me some of the stories. My mother was more of a grandmother. So yeah, she told me stories about the Depression and so on. But you know what? The people nowadays, they don't write their stories down. Write them down. Even if you don't publish them, write them down for your siblings, for your children, your grandchildren to read a little bit about you. And especially all you folks out there that were in wartime. I know a lot of our World War II veterans who are still alive, any of them, and especially the Vietnam veterans and Korean veterans. They did not like to talk about their time in the service. But you know what? Write it down, because those stories will be worth something, not monetary, but they are worth something to the rest of the world, to your family. Thank you, everybody. Enjoyed it. We're going to get out of this coronavirus soon, I hope. I'm going to Guam in December on 2 book signings. And anybody out there in Guam, I hope is seeing this. We shall see. But I had to cancel it for June, so I'm going in December. Get back with you then. Bye.
Authors Marketing Guild is a membership-owned organization designed to help authors succeed and learn how to better market and sell themselves and their books. Join us at authorsmarketingguild.com and receive so many benefits you'll wonder why you didn't join sooner. That's authorsmarketingguild.com.
Welcome to indielector.store, an online bookstore where the discriminating reader can find award-winning books. indielector.store is not a big corporation, so we can give up to 80% of the sales directly to the author. Help us support them by buying a great book at indielector.store. The 5th Annual Authors Marketing Event. 2 days of live seminars in marketing for authors. The only organization that certifies authors in marketing. Live and free to the first 100 authors registered. Sponsored by Bubblish, empowering entrepreneurs, and Indie Lector Store, paying authors for their fair share. Head to www.2020.authorsmarketingguild.com today.